600 drones. That's what China deployed in a single coastal exercise last month. Each one worth $20,000. Total cost of the swarm, $12 million. Cost to intercept them with Patriot missiles, $1.8 billion. That's Beijing's strategy, not to win in the air, to make winning too expensive for America, and against every aircraft in the US inventory right now. F-35, F-15, B-21, that math was working. Except for one jet. A jet the Pentagon officially retired. A jet China celebrated losing. A jet that, right now, is being rebuilt into something that doesn't exist on any public manifest. This is not the A-10 you know. To understand why the Pentagon went back to the Warthog, you need to understand what the South China Sea actually looks like right now from a targeting computer. China's S-400 batteries on the mainland, 400-kilometer engagement range. That's Taipei to Shanghai in a single radar sweep. Every aircraft that enters that envelope is immediately tracked, classified, and targeted. Closer in, the HQ-9 surface-to-air missile system, 125-kilometer kill radius, 48 missiles per battery, reload time under 4 minutes. And then, inside all of that, the J-6W drone wall. The J-6W is an economic weapon. China positions these drones as the first wave, not to destroy American aircraft, but to force them to engage. Every Patriot missile fired at a $20,000 drone costs $3 million. Run that exchange rate across 200 drones, and America has spent $600 million before a single Chinese missile battery has been touched. That's the trap. Exhaust the expensive interceptors, then send the real strike packages through an undefended envelope. And here's the brutal reality for America's current fleet. Flying an F-35 into that threat envelope costs $35,000 per flight hour. That's before weapons expenditure, before the additional targeting signature it creates by going active on its radar systems. The F-35 is extraordinary, but it was designed to dominate contested airspace, not to loiter inside a drone attrition kill zone for 4 hours picking off swarm elements one by one. The F-15, $29,000 per flight hour. Heavier payload, but a radar cross-section that the HQ-9 can lock onto from 80 kilometers. The B-21 Raider, the crown jewel of American stealth. But you don't send a $2 billion airframe on a drone-hunting loiter mission over a coastal kill zone. That's not what it's built for. The Pentagon needed something that could survive inside the kill zone. Loiter, hunt, and win the cost exchange rate against a $20,000 drone, without burning through $3 million missiles to do it. What they went back to was already sitting in the Arizona boneyard, 50 years old, officially retired, and about to become the most dangerous aircraft China never planned for. The A-10 Warthog. Wingspan, 57 feet, a 30mm G AU-8 Avenger cannon firing 3,900 rounds per minute of depleted uranium, 11 hardpoints, 16,000 pounds of mixed ordnance. First flight, 1972, the aircraft China crossed off their threat board the moment the Air Force announced its retirement. The aircraft their entire coastal defense doctrine was built to never encounter again. That was the calculation. In 2024, a program began inside the Air Force Research Laboratory with no public budget line. It's been referred to internally as Dragon Skin. The objective? Take the airframe China already wrote off and make it invisible to every radar system that defines their kill zone. Here's how. Layer 1. Metamaterial IRF cloaking. Traditional stealth. On the F-22, on the F-35, works by absorbing radar energy. Angular geometry and radar-absorbing coatings reduce how much signal bounces back to the source antenna. Still detectable, just harder to track. Metamaterials do something fundamentally different. They don't absorb radar waves, they redirect them. Metamaterials are engineered at the nanoscale with internal structures called meta-atoms, smaller than the wavelength of the radar signal targeting them. These structures force electromagnetic waves to travel around the A-10 surface rather than reflect off it. The technical term is negative refractive index, bending waves in the opposite direction, guiding them completely clear of the airframe. To a radar operator looking at their screen, the A-10 doesn't appear as low observable. It doesn't appear at all. The same surface coating being developed for the F-47 applied to an airframe that first flew in 1972. A 50-year-old jet, an invisible radar signature. Layer 2, the AI Gunslinger suite. In May 2026, the Pentagon publicly confirmed it is deploying AI-enhanced target recognition systems to help aircraft identify and destroy drones faster than any human operator can process. What they didn't say is that a classified version has already been backported into the A-10 cockpit. It's called Gunslinger. Originally developed inside the NGAD program, the same AI combat brain being built for the F-47, redesigned here for one mission: simpler, more ruthless, autonomous drone kill sequencing. The A-10 pilot enters the threat envelope, marks the swarm boundary, and then does nothing. Gunslinger takes over in under 4 seconds. Every active target identified, closure rates calculated, threat priority assessed by payload signature and trajectory, complete kill order queue built, trigger ready, waiting for one authorization command. A trained pilot at peak performance under combat stress processes one target every 400 milliseconds. Against a 200 drone swarm, that's 80 seconds to clear the queue. In 80 seconds, the formation is already split, adapted, and started targeting your aircraft. Inside the A-10's cockpit, there are no humans in that loop anymore. Layer 3, acoustic dampening. Every soldier who has ever been pinned down in a firefight knows the sound. The iconic turbofan roar of the A-10 Warthog, 3,900 rounds per minute, audible 3 miles out. In Iraq and Afghanistan, commanders documented enemy units breaking formation, abandoning defensive positions, the moment they heard it in the distance. That sound was a weapon in itself. Gone. Acoustic suppression technology, the same class of metamaterial engineering controlling the A-10's electromagnetic signature, has been applied to the engine exhaust profile. Structured resonant channels force sound waves through destructive interference pathways, dropping the A-10's noise signature below ambient battlefield threshold. The most recognizable aircraft sound in the history of close air support, the sound that defined American air power for 50 years, has been classified. China's radar cannot see the A-10. They cannot hear it either. Here's where Dragon Skin stops being a technology story and becomes a strategic catastrophe for China's entire coastal defense doctrine. Run the numbers. One Chinese J-6W drone clone, $20,000. One A-10 APKWS second laser-guided rocket, $25,000. For the first time, the American intercept weapon costs roughly the same as the target it's destroying. Compare that to every other option in the arsenal: a Patriot PAC-3 missile intercept, $3 million per kill; an AIM 120 AMRAAM from an F-35, $1,800,000 per kill; a Stinger engagement from ground forces, $38,000, but range limited to 4.5 kilometers. The stealth A-10 with APKWS rockets engages from 11 kilometers at $25,000 per kill from inside the threat envelope China built to keep American aircraft out. And the flight hour comparison tells an even more brutal story. F-35 mission, $35,000 per hour. F-15 mission, $29,000 per hour. Stealth A-10 Dragon Skin mission, $19,000 per hour. That's not just cheaper. That's the only cost equation in America's entire air power inventory where the math beats the drone swarm. Per engagement, per flight hour, per mission cycle. The A-10 carries up to 16,000 pounds of mixed ordnance across 11 pylons. Long-range precision strike missiles. JASSM standoff weapons. All launched from a platform that China's radar says doesn't exist in their airspace. They called it the Ghost Missile Truck. And right now, the Ghost is already in the zone. Before we get to what this does to China's Taiwan invasion timeline, I want your answer right now. 100 stealth A-10s or 10 F-35s? Same budget, same mission over the Taiwan Strait. Drop your answer in the comments, because whatever you pick, the Pentagon already made its decision, and the number in the boneyard just got a lot smaller. Pull back to the strategic picture. China spent a decade and an estimated $240 billion constructing a coastal defense architecture around one single assumption: that American aircraft are visible. Every HQ-9 battery position along the Taiwan Strait was mapped for that aircraft. Every S-400 coverage arc was calculated for that aircraft. The entire J-6W drone attrition strategy, engineered to exhaust American missile stocks before a single strike package crosses the strait, was built to bankrupt the budget required to fly that aircraft. Dragon Skin just made every single one of those assumptions wrong. The HQ-9 batteries are targeting clean airspace. The S-400 operators are looking at empty screens. The drone attrition math, the one Beijing spent a decade perfecting, the one that was working against every jet in America's fleet, just met the one intercept platform where the exchange rate collapses. China just realized there's a ghost inside their kill zone. What does their next move look like? Drop your answer below, Diquan, because the next video covers exactly what Beijing is building to answer Dragon Skin. And you're going to want to see it first. And if you want to understand the full weapon system that makes Dragon Skin even more lethal, the next video is right there.